everyone, welcome to Tutorials in Hand. In this video tutorial, we are going to see one of the most important topic of any programming language, which is how a loop works in that language. So in this particular video, we will emphasize on how a for loop works in Python. We will see it right from the scratch. We will see from that level like why exactly the need of for loop came and how it is helpful in programming terms. So it's going to be very interesting. So without any further ado, let's get started with the video. So first of all, before directly moving on to the programming part, let's take a real world example so that we can understand it in a better and interesting manner. So let's say if you wanted to buy 3 sweets from a shop. Okay, so what would be your approach? So your one approach would be simply that you would have gone to that shop and you would have told to give 3 sweets, right? But another approach is also that you might have went to the shop and for the first time would have told that yeah, give me a sweet. So when the shopkeeper would have given you one sweet, then for the second time you would have told again that give me a sweet. When he brings you to that sweet, then again you would have told that give me a sweet. So what we can see in this approach is that we are telling a same task but again and again. That is, the repetition of same task is happening over here in this case. So the better approach is what you could have directly went there and you could have told in a one single sentence that yeah, give me 3 sweets, right? So similarly, now let's consider a situation in programming wherein these two can be comparable. So let's say if you wanted to print hello world in Python, then you could have done, we know that we can print it with help of this particular statement, which is print hello world. But let's say you wanted it to print 3 times. Then the normal approach which you would have followed would be this, that you would have written thrice, right? So this is nothing but the same approach that over here in this situation we followed, which is we repeated same task again and again for 3 times, right? But where the problem arises, so the problem will arise when, let's say that if we take the earlier example, then in this example, if let's say we wanted 1,000 sweets, then is it practical that for every time you would have told give me a sweet 1,000 times? It's not, right? So similarly in programming as well, if we wanted to print hello world 1,000 times, then it's not practical to write the same code for 1,000 times. It's actually not a good solution, or it's actually not practical to behave like that. So what's the better approach? So this second example is the better approach, which is we would have told earlier only that how many number of times we have to repeat the task. So for that only we have looping in programming. This is how we can write a for loop in Python. Let me explain you what exactly we are doing here. So earlier in this situation where you would have seen that we were repeating this particular line, that is this particular task of printing hello world again and again manually, right? So over here in this situation, what we are doing, whatever things that we want to repeat, so that we will keep inside this for, okay? And in for itself, in this single line, we are declaring how many number of times we have to repeat those tasks which are written inside this. So from this particular thing, what we are telling to repeat my print hello world 1 comma 4. And how this works is, it will take the value from 1, 2 and 3. That is, the 4 would be excluded. That is, it will run till the value -1. Okay, so what we are telling from this particular expression is that we are telling to repeat this print hello world 3 times, right? Now let's quickly move to VS Code in order to understand it very clearly. Now let's rewrite the code for printing hello world 3 times. And boom, here you can see that hello world got printed 3 times, right? Now you might be curious, like what exactly is stored in this variable I. So let's print it, see to see what's there in it. So as you run it, you can see that it is containing nothing but the value which is there in the range currently working, which is for the first time when the loop will enter this line. So I is containing that value. So to better understand it, let's print one more thing, or it would be better if we print over here itself. So if we print over here hello and world, and then by comma we provide this so that we will get the things clearly. Now if you see that the iteration says that hello world, then the value of I is 1. For the second time the value of I is 2. For the third time the value of I is 3. So this simply means that the range means the value which is there in this range that gets stored in I. What's happening is, for the first time, the value is out to be 1. When the value is 1, it went inside, it printed the things. It again came. Now the value got updated to 2. And for the second time, it went inside, it did the things. For the third time, it got updated to 3. Since it is in the limit, then again it will run. Now for the fourth time, when the value was trying out to be 4, but since this is not in the range, it is touching the limit. That's why for the fourth time, the run or the loop will not move inside. So this means that whatever number we declare over there, for those number of times, whatever piece of code we will provide inside this for loop, so those all will be printed. So let's try out with something else as well. Let's print this number of times so that we can see if the things are repeating for all or not. So over here you can see that for the first time, that is when the value of I was 1, thrice it got printed because we have printed it thrice over here, and again the same thing happened for 2, and again the same thing happened for 3. So this is how the normal range of for loop works in Python. Now let's see if we have a list. Okay, let's see if we have a list of strings. Now with the help of for loop, we can iterate in this as well. Now let me show you how we can do that. So for that, we'll write the keyword which is for, and then we will write the variable. So over there we used I. Here as well we can use I. It's up to us only. We know that it's the variable name. But for better and for being specific, let's write sweet in this situation. And then in what we have to iterate. So we have to iterate in sweets. So it's nothing but we'll simply write in sweets. So this is the beauty of Python, that everything is very much grammatical, or everything is very much to the normal English. So here you can see that what we are telling that you have to run the loop in sweets, and whatever the value is coming one by one, you have to in this variable which we are telling to be sweet. Now let's print it. Let's print sweet, and now let's run it. And here you can see that we iterated through it one by one. So this is the difference between the range. In range, what we are doing, we are dealing with numbers, right? And here in this, what we are doing is we are simply iterating through the list, right? Now the same thing we can do with tuple or sets. Now let's also see one more thing, and this would wrap our video. Now let's see how to iterate in a string. So let's say if we have a string called name, and let's say the name is simply Candy, and in that if we want to iterate, so from this what I mean is, we want that for the first time the value should be C, for the second time the value should be A, and then N D Y, right? That is, each character should be taken care one by one. So how we can do that? So the approach is very much same as this, which is we'll simply write for, and then the variable name, let the variable name be simply I, and then in what we have to iterate, so we have to iterate in name. So let's write in name, and then let's print the things to see if the things are coming. Now let's clear this firstly. Now let's rerun it, and boom, here you can see that Candy got printed. So this is how for loop works in Python. I hope you enjoyed the video, but still if you have any doubt, then feel free to drop it down in the comment section. So this was all about the video. Thank you so much.